Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to be revisiting the iPhone 5S, the one that fell down the toilet, my nephew's phone. Now I know I said I wasn't going to revisit it, but when I was editing it I thought that possibly, because the touchscreen's not working, that maybe the connector that the ribbon cable clips onto could be to blame. And a couple of other people mentioned that in the comments as well. And if you remember when I did my son's iPhone 6S with the faulty camera, it turned out that it was the connector, nothing else, it was the actual connector, no chips or anything, that the camera clips onto. And now this particular one was actually done after my nephew's phone, even though the video came out beforehand. So the reason I haven't got it in front of me is because I've actually finished the video, but I was working on it for a day and a half, so I've got a lot of footage there. And if I was to edit it down in the normal way, then it would probably be about 1.5 hour video, and I don't want to release that as a revisit video because it's just too long. So I'm actually redoing the beginning of it to let you know that this video is going to be a little bit choppy. It's not going to make complete sense because it's going to be a lot of titles and then fast forwarding through the different things I did. Otherwise you're going to be sat there for 1.5 hours on a revisit video. I'm not going to tell you the outcome, but I want to get this video down to possibly half an hour. So that's it. Sit back, enjoy, and apologies for the fact it might not always make sense. Now, I haven't actually done anything with this since last time. Last time when I ended it, it was charging out, I think it was 0.17 to 0.19 amps, and nothing was happening. All I've done today is put it back together and it's working. I've put a different screen on it just in case, remember I changed the screen, just in case the digitizer on this was faulty, and just in case the digitizer on this was faulty, because the end result, if you haven't watched that video, is that I got it working, but the touchscreen didn't work, so the phone was useless. So I just put it back together and I used this other screen on it just in case, but it is definitely not the screen. But amazingly, this thing does turn on now, but you can see nothing's happening when I touch the screen. I don't know why it's turning on now and it wasn't turning on before. I haven't got a clue because I haven't done anything to it. I've just put the board back in, connected it all up, and now it seems to be back to where we were before, which is good. But it's still a useless phone because the touchscreen doesn't work on it. Now, what I've done is to verify the actual connector, because what I'm thinking is, when I did this before, I hadn't done my son's camera, even though this came out, the video came out after. And with my son's camera, it turned out that it was, I believe it's called an FPC connector. You see these little connectors that the ribbon cables connect onto? Well, on his one, all I did was take the connector off and put another one on, and then the camera started to work. So now, when I was editing this video, I thought, I wonder if it's the actual connection itself, because this is a different board, because the connector was corroded. But I didn't really think, I thought if it was looked clean, it'd be okay. But on the other one, it was the underneath of it that was faulty. And then reading the comments, a couple of other people also suggested that it could be the connector. So that's what I'm going to do today. So what I've done here is I've actually disconnected the connector to make sure I know which one it is. And it looks like it is this one here. See this one? Sorry, using a ruler which is no good for pointing. Right. You see this long one down here? This one here. I think this is the one for the touchscreen because I've disconnected it from here and it's still not making a difference. I've still got the backlight on and I've still got the screen working. It's just the touchscreen's not doing anything. So I think I'm going to take the connector off this board here and I'm going to try to put it on this board to see if it does anything, because I already changed the chip over. I already changed that chip over there that's to do with the touchscreen, and it didn't make a difference. So I'm thinking now, could it be a connection problem? It can't be the actual ribbon cable side of it because I've tried it on 3 different screens and the ribbon cable is not going to be faulty on 3 different screens. So, well, there you go. That's the ribbon cable there. That is to do with the touchscreen, this one here. So that's where we are. I'm going to get myself set up with my hot air. I'm going to try to take this one off using hot air, and then I'm going to try to take this one off and swap them over and see what happens. I personally think it's worth a go. Okay, so we've got the board here. So let's zoom right in at this because I haven't actually had a proper look. And when I've just had a quick look through this now, I'm not sure if it looks like they're sort of bananaed ever so slightly, the connections. So It might not even be to do with corrosion underneath. It could be the fact that when I was cleaning the corrosion off, maybe I've bent the pins or something. So let's zoom right in. Okay, so I believe it to be this connector here. And if you look, it does look like the pins are getting wider at the ends here. In fact, it looks slightly melted up here. So, remember, this board has had a lot of heat on it because I've been changing various different things off it. First of all, I'm going to see if any of the pins are moving. See if any of them are loose. I'll just fast forward through this. Here you go, that's loose there. That one's loose. Let me just look through the eyepiece a minute. Wow, okay, we've got loose pins. Now I don't want to bend them too much because I'll break them, but if you have a look, can you see the solder pads look kind of full on these ones? And then look at these, 1, 2, 3. Right, look at this third one along. Hold on, I'm worried that I'm going to break it. Oh, watch this. Hold on. Is it this one? They're moving. In that one you can see it's definitely bent off. Right, before I do anything, what I'm going to do is move these up ever so slightly here. Try to sort of get them so it's going to be a tighter connection. In fact, I'll do that on all of them. And I'm going to get my soldering iron and I'm just going to tap each of them and see if I can get them back on their pads again. I might not need to change this over at all. Because to be fair, it looks pretty clean, doesn't it? Wouldn't it be nice if it was that? I spent so much time on this phone. And then to get so close, you know, to have it turn on and stuff, and display that lovely picture of the bridge going over the train going over the bridge, and for it still not to work. There you go, you can see the ends are broken off there. I don't think that's going to make a difference though, I think it'll still be okay. Or is that end one going to fall off now? Oh no, that end one's going to fall off, isn't it? Yeah. Right, well, maybe I can put some glue or something there to keep that in place. Uh-oh, I think I've removed... Hold on, let's put that there. I think I've removed one of the components. Put something on my tweezers, yeah, that's something. Right, okay, I'll have to... I'm sure that's something. I don't know, actually. Yeah, it looks like something with a bit of solder sticking out of it. Let me get the IPA, clean this up, and then I'll have a look at what's going on. Right, okay, that looks awful. That looks really bad. I'm just going to dry it up. Right, the pins are all over the place, but I still don't know where this thing's from. Oh, I see now. It's an actual pin. It's one of the pins. Right, okay. This is not going well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some heat. I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to try to get the one from the other board. But looking at the other board, I can also see that it's slightly melted just up the top here. But the pins and stuff do look to be intact. The odds of me being able to do this are very slim. I'm surprised that went so wrong on me just using a soldering iron. Very surprised. I thought that would be okay, but obviously when I was dragging it across, I must have melted the plastic. I had it at 400 degrees C. That must be too warm for it. So let's get this one off. I'm going to use some hot air. So let's put some flux on it. I think I'm going to go to 370 and see what happens. I'm going to put the airflow at 3 out of 8. So that's 370 degrees Celsius. Right, I've just put some coins around the place just to try to protect some of the chips. Let's see what happens now. Now obviously it doesn't matter if I melt this one coming off because this is the faulty one anyway. Right, interesting. Okay, so you can really see the corrosion now on these pins here. So let's get the soldering iron straight on it and let's try to rub it up and down to try to get it back. So you can see the 3 pins there. So that would cause, I mean, I don't know what those pins exactly do, but they're there for a reason. It's unlikely they're all going to be ground pins. There we go. Come back now, haven't they? Oh no! Oh, look what happened. It curled up like a caterpillar. Oh, look at that. What happened there? Oh, what a disaster. Disastrous. Oh, that's horrible. Wow, that failed spectacularly. Look at that. I just took that off and it just coiled up just like a caterpillar. Oh, what a shame. Oh, I wanted to get this done. I wanted to get this done today. Oh, that's really as mucked up there. Yeah, that's gone. Oh well. That's irritating. Very irritating. I'm going to have to try to order up one of them now. I hope I don't have to buy 100 of them or anything stupid. Oh, I'm gutted about that. Especially because the faulty one came off absolutely perfect. Look at the faulty one. But I did have to heat up. The good one more, probably because the board's not corroded underneath it. Oh well, never mind. So I'll get back to this once I've ordered up one, and we'll pop it on and see what's happening with it. There we go. I've bought one. I've actually bought 2 because I've got a feeling I might muck it up when I put it back on. They were $2.49 each. What I'm thinking is when I get the new connector, it's not going to have any solder on the pads. So the previous one that I took off would be covered in solder, but the new one is not going to be, is it? So what I'll have to do is I will have to tin these pads down here. So let me get myself a little bit of leaded solder. I think that's it. So that should be a mixture of leaded and unleaded solder now. Hopefully there's a little bit more solder on there than there was before, and when the connector arrives, hopefully that tomorrow or the next day, I wonder now when it goes on, because there's a bit of leaded solder, maybe I don't have to have it quite so hot and maybe it won't curl up like a caterpillar. But I have got 2 of them to try, and the good news is it looks like it's damaging the connector rather than the board, and the board's the important thing. I can keep buying more and more connectors until I get it right. I don't want to, but it is an option, isn't it? Right, so I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Right, okay, the parts have arrived. I'll show you them in a minute. Just quickly show you that the touchscreen is not working. It's very hard to see. I hope that the brightness is down on this screen. I hope that isn't the brightest it goes. Remember, this is an aftermarket screen. But as you can see, there's nothing there, nothing happening there. Right, so these are the little connectors, absolutely tiny. I bought 2 of them, so if I muck up one, I have another chance. If I muck up 2, I then have to decide whether I want to take it any further or not. Now, I'm thinking I'm just going to try to solder. I'm not sure whether to go for hot air or solder. I think to begin with, I might try to solder it, and then if it's not working for me, then I might try the hot air. But watching the way it curled up like a caterpillar before, I'm thinking maybe soldering might be the safest way of doing it. And I've got the finest tip I have. Now, it's going to be hard because this is a point. This is off at the moment. This is a very sharp point. So some of the pads might not work very well on this, but they're so small. I think I'm going to try this to begin with. I don't know, it's all a bit of trial and error really. Right, so let's get this apart, get the board out, and then we can try to get this on.
Right, here we go, and look, I've gone all professional. I've got myself a little iPhone, mobile phone little stand here. £5, not too bad. So yeah, hopefully that's going to keep it in place while I do my soldering. It seems it's pretty heavy, pretty solid. Right, I've got the tiny little connector on here. So what I'm going to do is use the macro feature, zoom right in, and let's see if I can get any of these pins soldered. So like I said, I'm going to try to use a soldering iron, but who knows, I might swap that halfway through. I haven't got a clue. Let's just see what happens. Cracked it already. I haven't even put the soldering iron anywhere near it, and I've already cracked it because of all the messing around with it. I'm really going to struggle on this one. Right, because I've only got 2 of these, I am going to still go with this one here. Let's try to push in the top. Right, let's just go for it. Okay, so I've tacked a couple of pins there, but there's very little solder on these. Now I'm just going to spin it round, and I'm going to try to tack a couple on the other side. It's a bit of a mess. Let me just try to clean it up a bit. The problem I've got is the solder's not actually sticking to the iron. It's just I want it to coat the iron. It's not sticking to the tip at the end. See, this is probably the wrong tip to use. It's just that it's so fine that my other tips are a little bit big. Right, I'm not winning here, it's not working, so I'm just going to try to add solder and just rub it up and down, and then hopefully I might be able to pick it off after that. No, this tip's no good for me. I'm going to change the tip. What's happening is there's not enough heat in it. So I'm going to have to let the soldering irons cool down and then change the tip. Yeah, apologies, this is taking forever, but these are my videos, aren't they? They are real life, and if you're trying to do this yourself, you might encounter the same problems that I'm having if you don't really know what you're doing. So once it's cooled down, I'll be back to this. Right, okay, I've changed over the tip. Now, I've still got it at 380 degrees Celsius, but because this is bigger, it should transfer the heat more. So let's see now. I mean, I've made a right mess of this connector already, but let's just see now whether this is going to melt down or not. The problem I've got is because of the flux, all the light and everything bounces off it, and it makes it really hard to see. Right, so I've got way too much solder there, so let's get some wick and try to remove some of it. I'm going to put some flux on my braid. Right, before I do anything on the other side, I am actually going to clean this with IPA to see what that looks like, because right now I haven't got a clue whether any of them have stuck. I don't know what they look like, it just looks a complete mess. So let me clean it up and then see what it looks like. Right, okay, doesn't look quite as bad as I thought. It's spayed out the top here, but I'm going to push those in when I come to solder it. I just want to check these actual pins, because remember, it's the inside pins that are doing the connection. And I've put solder all over most of them, but they still feel, I think they feel okay. So I've got to be careful up here now, that's completely broken there, but once I solder that in it might be alright. I'm just going to test a few of these, well I'm going to test all of the pins. Right, against the odds, they have actually stuck. I mean, I know it looks awful. Let's try to get a different angle on it. Yeah, well look, there's solder on each of them and they are all on their own pads. I actually think that side will work, so let's flip this over now and try to do the other side. Annoyingly, I am going to have to add more flux to it. And I think it's going to be the same again, putting some solder on it and try to drag it in. I'm going to just try to push this side in here. Right, well, look, I haven't added any solder to it, but there was solder on the pads. We know that from the beginning because it couldn't sit still on the thing. Let's just see if any of these have actually stuck, because that first one definitely looks like it's stuck. No. Yeah, see the problem I've got is, look, a lot of them have stuck, and although it's going to look a lot neater, I'd be worried that they're going to lift off again at a later stage, especially if the phone got any bit of a drop. So I am going to add solder to it, and I know it's going to end up being a mess. Let me just see if I can add a tiny little bit less this time. The solder's behaving itself as well, it's sticking to my soldering iron. I don't know why the other side went so wrong on me. Yeah, they're all stuck. That's still there. Is that still there or is that gone? Uh-oh. Oh no, that little capacitor's gone. Where would that have gone to? Don't remember it sticking to my iron. Let me have a look in the sponge tray. You know, it might still work without that. It might not be that important. It might be just to like filter something out. Oh, that's annoying that that's gone. But mind you, I can take that off the other board, can't I? Actually, let me do that. Yeah, see, I'm getting used to working with hot air, but I'm still not very good at soldering. And I can't see where that's gone. That could be anywhere now. I know I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. It looks really big, it looks really easy, but look at the size of the soldering iron compared to it. Yeah, you can see the soldering iron is like twice, if not 3 times as big as the component that you're trying to place on there. Right, I'm gonna leave it because it might not be important anyway. I know it's there for a reason, but there's lots of things that are here that might be just to kind of filter out a little bit of noise or something. I'm going to leave it because otherwise I might end up ruining it completely. Right, let's get this board back in and let's see whether it's going to have made a difference or not. But as far as that connector is concerned, I am actually relatively happy with it. It definitely wasn't easy, and if I had to do it again I would still struggle as much. But look, I know they don't look good, but they're definitely all stuck down. I think that's okay. Right, let's get it back in. Well, I'm just going to connect this connector in real time. Let's see if it's going to clip into place or not. Yes, it's clipped in. Brilliant. Okay, that wasn't too difficult. And let's do all the others. Right, here we go. Test time. What do you reckon? Yes or no? I am hopeful. I am more confident than not confident. Right, why is it not turning on? Uh-oh. Right, let's get the battery thing. Oh, here we go. Maybe I haven't got the power button connected properly. Here we go. Ah, I don't believe it. Oh, I thought that was going to be it. I really thought that was going to be it. Because, you know, with the... You know, when I tested that connector, there was 3 pins in the middle that weren't moving. I was sure that was going to be it. No, that touchscreen is definitely not working. Right, well, okay, it's now the next day now, and I gave up on this again because I didn't have any success after changing over that FPC little connector. But I was watching some STS Telecom, and basically he had problems with a touchscreen on an iPhone 5S, and basically he replaced this one, which I've already done, but then he replaced this one here, and I haven't done that, so I might as well try to do that. Now you can see as well, it's all a complete mess up here because I've been reheating it that many times, so I have to move, for example, these components and make them better. But what I did notice is I have got a short on this little capacitor here, and I don't remember seeing that before. So let me get my multimeter to show you that. I won't bother zooming out, you can just use your ears to hear. So if you have a listen, you can see I've got a short, so if I go between a ground and this one here, you see it's shorted, and also there. But now if I go onto the donor board and again do the same thing, you can see I've only got a short on one side. So I don't know whether that capacitor there is linked with that chip or not, but let's pop off the chip and see if that short disappears. Now I'm just going to be fast forwarding through this now because this revisit video has gone on far too long, and I'm 99% confident I won't be fixing this. So I don't really want to let you watch something for 3 hours that's not going to work for the second time. Right, temperature set to 480 degrees C. Airflow is 3 out of 8. I've got coins and stuff covering over the items. I'm just going to try to move this back into place. Okay, let's test it with the multimeter again. There you go. Right, so there's no longer a short on there. So let's try to clean up these balls here. Okay, I think they look nice enough. Let's get the one off the donor board. Right, I'm just going to tap this with the soldering iron. Add a tiny bit of solder to this one. Clean that up. Obviously that's not the proper way to reball it. I have actually ordered some stencils up and some little solder balls, so maybe it's something I can do in another video. Just going to check for the short on the capacitor. No, okay. Right, that's good, so that's not shorting anymore. Well, I'm going to let this board cool down, pop it back in the phone, and then I'll start filming again once we're about to turn it on. Right, here goes. I promise I haven't turned this on yet, so let's see what happens. Okay, it's booting up. Right, here we go. Here we go. No! It still doesn't work. Oh, what a thing! You're worse than Andy Pandy. Oh my! I think I've tried everything, haven't I? Wow, okay. Well, I'm confident that... Let's unplug the home button. I'm confident that everything is connected well. So if it's still not working now, there's nothing really more I can do. Oh, what a shame. Right, I've pretty much changed everything that I can think of, so really it is 100% time to give up on this, put it down to just one of those unfortunate things, but to take the positives out of it, I have gained more and more experience with the soldering, and as well as that, it's so much easier now that I've got this big screen connected to my, oh look at that, that looks all weird. I've got this big screen connected, this monitor, to my actual, there you go, you can see the bottom of it, it's a 10-inch screen to my camera. So it means then when it comes to doing the micro soldering, I'm not having to look through a tiny viewfinder this big, I'm actually looking through a big screen. So that is good. So look, you know, I'm actually not disappointed in this because I didn't think that it was really gonna, well, I thought that the connector was going to work, but then when the connector didn't work, I didn't think that really changing that chip would make any difference. But still, it was definitely worth a try. I really have given this my best shot. And although I can't fix this one, if I ever do come across an iPhone 5S again that needs fixing, I will be more confident, especially with those tiny chips. So yeah, I'm definitely taking positives from this. It's unfortunate that I couldn't get the touchscreen working because this phone now is exactly the same as a useless phone. It might not have, there's no point in even turning on because I can't do anything with it. Somebody did say that I could connect it to the computer and go via iTunes to do a backup from there. So that is a possibility, you know, to get the data off it. But what, you know, yeah, so possibly it is good that it turns on. But apart from that, it's that the phone itself is of no use. But still, that's the way it goes. You win some and you lose some. And this one, I've certainly lost, and it has zapped away hours and hours and hours and hours, not just hours, days off my time. But that is the way it goes sometimes. So hopefully you found it still a little bit entertaining, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos, even though on some of them I do fail. So that's it. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Take care. Bye now.